then you guys can, he says he's on his way, so he'll join us. So I'll start the recording. You guys can kick the meeting off. Connecting to card server. The meeting's recording.
So I think we had 2 sets of minutes. I just had one question for you, Kristen, on, I think it was the first set, I think from the last meeting. There was at the very end a
Print?
mention about Wayne
I want to print
Wetzel's,
something. Can you get it?
Yes. Yeah.
Wayne
that was,
Wetzel's property.
Yep.
There was a question there, but no indication of the board's decision. I think that we decided to let Bill make the call on
Okay.
those properties.
Okay. I can go back and just re-listen to the end of the meeting on to see what was spoken about, because I know it was something that was not on the agenda.
Right.
So we can hold off on approving these for tonight, and then I'll go back, re-listen just to that end again and just see if I can see where it wrapped up. Here's Chris.
Clarification. The question was, were the permits acted on, or were they acted on between meetings?
I think my minutes just say, sold the back 2 lots. Will the board approve the plan if Bill does not see any issue with the plan? Changes to the engineering company affected getting the plan earlier.
Yeah, so those plans, they were variance free, and
Okay.
the permits were drafted and approved based on that discussion, because they had a closing before tonight's meeting.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, so I propose that I make a motion that we approve the minutes with one modification, which indicates that, the board agreed to allow Bill to approve those
Okay.
if he was comfortable.
All right.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And then there was a second set for the 27th of minutes of looking at
I move that we approve as written.
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, I'll work on that and submit that in. Oops,
Sorry, I'm late, folks.
that's okay. So I have a few things just to kind of go over from my standpoint on the coronavirus update. My update and email to the town, like through the news and announcement, didn't exactly work the way I wanted it to on Friday, so I have to adjust it. So it will have to go out through a news and announcement, but I don't know if you've had a chance to look at the updated webpage. The way I have it formatted, it gives the new metrics and how Bolton would be classified by color based on number of cases. And then it's just going to have a link to each week's document. So there's the one from October 29th and the one from November 6th. And then this Friday or Thursday evening, whichever I get a chance to, we'll post the next week. And then I'll just send it out with a new news and announcement. Please see the following information. Bolton is classified as color, whatever. Hopefully it's still gray. We did change. It looks to be that we have to stay gray, we need to be we have a population under 10,000. Am I correct in stating that?
Yes.
So
About 5,500.
So less than or equal to 10 cases within the 14-day window keeps us at gray. Less than or equal to 15 would be green. Less than or equal to 25 will be yellow, and then more than 25 would be red. The state, when they announced the new metrics, said that last week, so the week of the 29th of October, there were 163 communities in the red, the way the old metrics were. They've adjusted some of the numbers, so a town like Bolton, who's small, doesn't get impacted as much. Now there was only 16. So a huge shift in the numbers and the colors, which, I think impacts a lot of towns differently than us. So again, I will be sending that notification out. Hopefully it comes out Thursday nights, not Friday nights. And and I can post it Friday morning to send to everybody with just a link to the website. I think everyone gets, the information from the news, from a neighbor, from their own cell phones, the internet, but it seems that there was an ask that it came from us, from the town. So I will continue to send that out to everybody.
And does this satisfy the request from Stan?
I
Yeah,
did
I
not
saw the
hear,
email.
I was not copied on the email. I have not heard that it does not satisfy the request from Stan. I mean, I think it makes a big difference in the fact that when he sent the email, we were read. Okay. So I don't know if you guys like I said, I wasn't on the original email for the ask, so I don't know if he followed up with it.
I can give him a call. I've been meaning to, but then they changed the metric, and so I didn't.
Yeah,
Because I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to talk about now. It's like they've changed the whole
they
formula.
changed the whole thing. I mean, it does help, but it's also interesting because it took Boston out of the red.
Crazy.
So, I guess stand by. It seems to be that's a very fluid, metric system. Hopefully it sticks for a little while. I didn't receive any phone calls in the last 2 weeks on mass complaints or anything of the sort, any COVID violations. Other
But
than,
I'm not sure how much context we really have and, what he was looking for and,
there
that
was a
you can't
concern
get from the state.
that a resident, the Board of Health did not send out any notification that the town had turned to a red color. The information was posted onto the website, but it was just not sent out in a news and announcement. And looking at the website and the background to the website, I do have to send it out as a news and announcement. I can't just update the page and hit send email. As of right now, I have to call the company and find out, on the IT side of it, how to actually do that. But the news and announcement works. It brings people to the page that lists the metrics. We'll just tell everybody, here's the link to the state page.
That's all you can do.
Yep.
So,
I think that's adequate.
I do think, it seems to be we're getting 3 to 4 cases a week now. Over the last couple of weeks, that's about what our increase has been. We're up to 27 now.
Ouch.
Now, is that still cumulative since the start of this? Or
Correct.
is it, yeah. So I don't know. I mean, this whole thing is just whacked, in my opinion. That they don't. Obviously, the March cases have dropped off. I mean,
Correct.
doesn't really seem very accurate, but
They do.
I mean, it's going to happen.
also-
I think we are going to see it because, again, personal experience. A friend's college daughter came home having tested positive. To my knowledge, she has since cleared and gone back to school. But it's still registered in our town because she's a resident here. So
Right. So
it's me a moving target, I think. So
that's all I had. I don't know if you guys had anything else from anybody else who's emailed you.
no, only recurring topic I have is it's been a pleasure to stop in and watch the mosquito control guys up moving tires around up on Warren Hills property. It's pretty interesting. Taking a lot out, organizing the big tires. It's pretty wild.
Good. I'll check in with Tim again before the next meeting and put it back on the agenda. I wasn't sure he was going to have an update because he said they had just started, so I didn't want to put it on there if
Yeah, I'd appreciate that because I do, I realize that they're not going to get them all out this season, but they're doing it, and I'm not sure how much they've actually hauled out. They appear to be doing a very good job organizing them, but assuming that they're not going to take them all out this season, I would like to just have him reaffirm the tires that will remain. He had alluded to some process that they use on these tire dumps when they can't get rid of them right away. So just be nice to know that we're gonna be doing that.
you want me to invite him to the meeting to explain that, or you just
Sure.
want to have him send me an update?
Actually, he can just send you an update. He doesn't have to attend the meeting.
All right.
I mean, that's how I feel. Again, if the rest of the board feels differently, we're welcome to invite him.
Okay.
Yeah, it makes sense. I don't think he needs to come. He's been really gracious with his time.
All right. Well, I guess that looks like that's the balance of the coronavirus. We're looking at a variance request for 9 Cider Circle. Did that come in, Bill?
Yes, Bob Pace is proposing a irrigation well to serve. Let's get my lot 52 and lot 53.
Okay.
But Andy has sent us basically, I guess we'll talk about the location. The location of the irrigation well does not meet potable offset. It's less than 50 feet to a side property line and a front property line,
Okay.
but it does meet offset to septic system. So Bob's hoping the board will conceptually approve that proposal. But Andy has sent an email indicating that the homeowners association, which is I think him currently, needs to approve any type of well. So, we couldn't move forward on a permit until that's clarified legally.
Okay, but I guess while we wait for that, what is the rule or rule of thumb been, Bill, on this thus far? Has it been that they've got to meet all potable well off, or I believe it's got to meet all potable well water.
To this point, the board has said meet potable offsets if you can, and if
Okay.
you can't, come see us. So that's what Bob's in the process of doing.
So I guess my question is, have we, and again, unfair to ask now, but if you get a chance to look at it a little bit, have we allowed anything with greater variance to date?
I think the irrigation wells have met potable offsets to this point.
Okay, I mean, because I feel like that's in the event something were to happen to the public water supply, and without our knowledge, people started tying into these things.
Yes.
I think that's a good benchmark to try and meet.
Yep. I think that was your point exactly.
So I'd be okay telling them to go back to the drawing board and see if they can meet the offsets.
Okay. Yeah, I mean the property line itself isn't really a resource that poses a threat to the well.
Okay.
It's not producing contaminants, but to the side and the rear of the lots.
Okay.
Well, and again, I don't want to state the case for the builder. He's welcome to join us at a Zoom meeting to do that himself.
Yeah, then I guess that, unless the board feels otherwise, that would be my desires to have them, if they want to make a case, and they can come to us and make it. But as a rule of thumb, I'd really like to see even the irrigation wells, because again, I could be wrong, but I feel as though we have held that line pretty firmly.
I would agree.
Takes a great burden off of us to have to, run around and police people.
Right.
If they want to hook up to their irrigation
Exactly.
well to their house, give a damn. It meets all our regulations.
Bill, do you
Right.
need to bring up either of the plans that have been sent to me?
You could certainly
I
show the
included-
board.
I Included them in the packet,
location.
except for those few that came later in the day today.
Yeah, he sent over the potential the draft of the deed language, and I still need an actual full-size scale plan. Everything I've received is kind of shrunk, so it's not really usable. I spoke to Bob about that today. But it's interesting, Andy's holding them to the homeowners association regs. In the same paragraph that it says that the homeowners association must approve the irrigation wells, it also says that the public water supply shall not be used for irrigation. So he's kind of it's too bad he didn't enforce that from the beginning.
Right. No doubt. Now, is there bad blood between Andy and Pace that we know of, or
no comment? I don't know where that's going.
Okay. Just curious as to why Andy's weighing in, but
yeah, that's Bob's question also, but that's between him and
yeah. So I would I would say that if it had, I don't know how bad Bob wants this, but if there's a variance, he's got to bring it to the board, and we'll take it from there.
Yeah, like I say, there's it's kind of preliminary at this point, so yeah, you can get us a scaled plan and see how his negotiations go with Andy. Because we obviously can't issue a permit now that it's been brought to our attention that
Right.
irrigation wells can't be approved without the homeowners association. Because in the past, Andy's been taking care of the application and the installation. So he is the homeowners association currently, so that question hadn't been raised.
Okay. All right. So I guess that's that. Moving on, building permits. Bill, looks like these are all signed. Obviously, anything interesting about any of this?
No, I'd have to say no.
Okay, great. Septic permits, 120 East End Road, a D-box replacement.
Yeah, that is a D-box replacement based on a Title V inspection that we do have tonight. Frank's already done the work, Frank Chiodo. So we'll be getting the certificate of compliance taken care of on that once we get his as-built.
Very good. Which brings us down to inspection reports, 300 Harvard Road, 120 East End Road, and 202 Still River Road.
While we're under permits, 202 Still River Road needs a D-box also, and I just got that application today. So if the board doesn't mind, I'd like to, be able to move forward on that work and, keep them moving on the paperwork end.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, so 202 Silver Road, then the D-box. How about 300 Harbor Road? Anything?
300 Harvard Road has a water treatment system discharging into their septic, so we have to ask them to remove that. And also, it was submitted without the filing fee, so we can send a letter indicating both.
Sounds good. All right, I guess is that the balance of our agenda tonight?
I've got one thing I'd just like to discuss with you.
Sure.
I got asked where it's gone, the long-range planning group about water and sewer, which is headed up by Bob Romer, who I've worked with before and found him to be a very good person to work with. And what's our opinion about public sewer? He's been doing the water. So I've written up some stuff that I will get to you in the next week. But basically, I point out that there are really very few systems in Bolton at the moment that we don't know about, don't have either a Title V inspection or a new system. Some of the worst ones have been eliminated in the last 2 years. Therefore, we would feel that trying to build a public sewer system to the center of town would be extremely expensive if it were only paid for by the users, and the rest of the town might not like paying for it, as they've already paid for their big buck system upgrade. So, and to put a system in for the entire town doesn't make any sense at all, because it doesn't work. Then I go on with a paragraph about basically Title V being quite well written. If we stick by and don't try any shenanigans on the 440 gallons per acre, and keep our lot sizes the way they are, really, we should never have a problem. And that a new Title V system is kind of self-contained in that we have put in twice the tank that we used to. Then it goes into a system. And one of the primary things we want is that 4 feet of dry sand, so that what comes out of the bottom of that can enter the environment without any problem. And we no longer have systems sitting on the water table, creating a plume under them of polluted material that hopefully either digests or is diluted enough it doesn't bother anybody. That's what I'm working towards. What else would you people like to see me try to incorporate into this?
Chris, I don't think you need to add any more to that. I mean, this is something that's probably come up 4 times in the 20 years I've been on this board.
Yeah,
And every time we do an analysis of Main Street, and one or at least one, maybe 2 of these were pretty intense drilling down on Main Street, which is the section of town everybody thinks of when we think of public storage systems. And again, by the as this progresses, I'll use that property just past, heading west, just past the town common, that recently upgraded the system. And yeah, one every couple or few years requires an upgrade, gets upgraded. So in my opinion, there's no current driving need for a public system of any kind. I mean, we have talked in the past about the fact that we do have a municipal service that runs past a number of properties, and the pros and the potential pros and cons of tying in certain properties. And I'll reference the Cracker Barrel as the primary, in that they only have a tight tank. But again, historically, looking at this as a board, the amount of work it would take to turn this from a municipal, and I could be wrong at this point, but to turn it from a municipal into a public prospect is prohibitive, and it may not be able to be done. So
well, that system that we have going down to the Emerson treatment plant, you look at how that was built and the specifications for a public system, that is a private system specification. A little piece of 2-inch pipe running down there. Not a full public sewer, pumps that have generating capacity, a generator beside them. It's a power failure. And the big thing was, if you have the library, you can simply close, for God's sakes. They may not think so, but we can live without the library while we fix the pump. The police and fire can work with some porta potties behind the building for a few weeks. And if they don't like those, they can run down the town hall and use the facility. You can't do that with a whole block of houses. You got to move the people out, put them in hotels or whatever. And this is why they want the redundancy in a public system. It's really a horse of a different color. So I would, and the other thing is, if you do that for one, how do you decide you can't do it for more?
Right.
Next, if you're doing it for existing, well, I just bought a lot. Why can't I tie on? And you've got Waterquatic Hill and Powder House Hill on both sides, with pretty tough soils, all wanting to tie in.
Yeah.
There goes a baby with the bath.
Yeah.
No, I concur. We just keep that little black pipe for the public safety and the library, and we piggyback it on to the school. That's it.
Yep. No, I concur. I mean, I don't think we have I don't think there's a driving need, and I don't think there's really, to that point, a clean way to make it work. And I don't know the specs on the system we have, but to your point, now that you say it, I remember that it being a forced main system for the library, Houghton, and public safety. So it may be a moot point, and there may be no option to tie into that system, no matter how hard you try. And it doesn't make any sense to create a system publicly for 1 to 2 to 3 properties that might need it in the next 2 to 4 years. Yeah.
Well, one
Yeah,
of the things,
I think
one
you
of the things
guys,
that really, excuse me, go
uh,
ahead.
yeah, I was just going to say, I think you're making the assumption, and I think it's a valid one, but that we're not going to have any significant business development in the area, because that could potentially change. You know, particularly the properties around 495 and, but I imagine the long range plan is not envisioning significant change in terms of the business development in the Bolton area.
Well, the nice thing is also, the development we have had is properly supported by systems that are in place.
So
And,
far,
and anybody else who wants to develop property, whether it be the so-called Kane property or something else, sorry, you're gonna have to follow in the footsteps of Mr. Flatley. When he wanted to build his big building, he figured out how to build a big system. You have to do the same thing.
Go ahead, Bill.
A while back, I don't know if it was the Board of Health or the committee asked me to look at the properties on Main Street in that area. And minus the tight tank at the Cracker Barrel and the property next to the one that was upgraded next to the Common, everything had either passed the Title V or it had an upgrade system installed. So
Yeah.
there really is very few.
You must have looked at the same files I did. No, really, that's just it. And as I say, the one that the Cracker Barrel has a system design. Just that they lose their parking place if they institute it. Well, all right. Sorry, pal. And the one next to, if we could straighten out Bambi's house with a compliant system, we can certainly, the one next to it can be rectified.
Yeah, I think there's a little more space actually on the one next door.
Yes, there is. So, and that Bambi's house is sort of a nice piece of ammunition. And if you can put a system there, you can put a system anywhere up and down Main Street.
Mm-hmm.
It may be expensive, may take some blocks. And this is the thing about the new Title V. You put that stone on top, the sand underneath, keep it contained with cement blocks. What comes out of that sand can go into that stream with no problem. So anyway, those are the points I'm trying to make, but I will try to write this up clearly and get everybody a copy of it. Let Bob Romer edit it and you people edit it. But I think we're all on the same page. Keep it the way it is, regulate it carefully.
Mm-hmm.
And sorry, big developer, you're wrong town.
Right.
yeah.
All right. Well, Chris, thank you for that. So it's something you want to put in the next agenda for, the agenda for the next meeting, or?
Yeah, put in the next agenda and I'll try to get it to you before the next meeting in writing so you can pick, edit it. We'll discuss it, same time, get perhaps feedback from Romer if he has a problem with what I'm writing.
The next meeting, November 24th.
Where does that land us? Is that the week of Thanksgiving? I'm guessing?
That is the week of Thanksgiving.
Okay. I mean, I'm around. I don't know how far anybody's going, but
I'm here.
I mean, it's kind of a loaded question these days.
I know.
All
Can't
right,
go
cool. Yeah.
anywhere.
I don't care which night we spend an hour on Zoom.
There you go. All right. Anybody else have any other? So Chris will get that for us for the next meeting. That'll be great. Anybody else have any other business that they want to?
Just one other thing. I wasn't here, but my brother was down there back sawing some lumber when Tim swung into our property. And he and Tim had a nice talk about tires. And I think we'll try to do something with him in the spring. And for one, you'll get the problem up by you under control. And we expressed the feeling that we have the wherewithal to pay for it without some cooperation and do it economically as possible, but where your neighbor does not have the money to take care of lots.
Right.
In all
right.
fairness, I do. And I shouldn't.
Yeah, no, it's funny. I had heard that, and I'm not sure if I heard from Tim or from somebody that somebody had gone to talk to somebody at a sawmill, and I suspected it was down on your old property.
Yep.
In my head, I'm like, how the hell did they find you guys down there? I mean,
I have no idea. He just sort of wandered in, and there's Paul. And Paul, no sense being offensive if you don't have to.
yeah,
Shook hands and had a nice conversation.
sure. Well, it's like I said, they are. I am impressed as hell at what they're doing. All in my opinion, already it's paying dividends to the town in terms of what they're clearing out up there. So this is.
What have they got for machinery up there?
They've got a old Takeuchi without a thumb. I mean, it's an old dump truck and a Takeuchi, and just dragging stuff around. Yeah, it could be better set up, but they seem happy, and they're getting the work done. So, all right. Well, that being said, I make a motion that we adjourn the meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. If I don't speak to you before then, I'll see you in 2 weeks.
Very good, sir.